Hello, I'm about to show you my go-to makeup look for confidence. This is what makeup I do. This is the makeup, but in the next clip I'll look like a little bit of a gremlin. But basically, this is my go-to makeup to feel confident, to feel good about myself. And obviously confidence comes from within. You've got to learn to love yourself, but everyone has those days where they feel like they need a little bit of makeup to make themselves feel more motivated, more presentable, more confident in themselves. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do my makeup to feel confident on days like that. If you can hear that whistling noise, it is my dog whining. Would you like to say hello? Oh my goodness. This is Howard. He whines all the time, he cries all the time. He's a big baby. But I've got to do my makeup look. So I see you soon? Yeah? I love you. Thank you. So my makeup routine always starts with my base. And this is like my go-to. Like if I didn't have, not necessarily these products, but this routine, I wouldn't wear makeup, because for me, if I can't do my base properly before I even put any makeup on, there's no point me doing any makeup because it just feels wrong to me anyway. So first step is I wash my face or I tone my face, and then I always wet my face with something. So at the moment I'm using this. This is the Thayers Rose Petal Facial Mist. It has witch hazel and aloe vera, so it's dead soothing on the skin. And I just wet my face, not like so it's dripping, but so you can definitely see that there's water on your face. And then I go in with my Kiehl's Hyaluronic Acid Serum. I cannot live without this. This is like my third bottle. It lasts me around like 6 months, I would say, and it's about £25. And I just do a drop on my forehead and a drop on each cheek, and you can kind of like feel it. It's very slippy, slidey on the skin, so you can feel where it's going even though you can't necessarily see it. And this basically sucks in all the moisture from the environment, and that's why I wet my face first. Number one, because the Kiehl's girl told me to do that, and number two, because that's how you get like the best properties out of this, is when you put it on damp skin, because it soaks all that moisture into your skin. And then I just fan dry my face. You can feel it, it's very cooling, it feels fresh. And then I let this dry down until my face doesn't look wet anymore, but it will be like tacky to touch from the serum. Now once that has dried down, I go in with my moisturizer. It's not a very intense pre-makeup skin routine. This is just my everyday skincare routine really. But I did get this for Christmas, and it's the Thayers water cream, and this also has hyaluronic acid. It's for combo to oily skin, and it basically says it clarifies skin, reduces appearance of pores and smooths texture. And I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of feels a little bit bitty when I rub it in, and I feel like that almost like exfoliates your skin. I do 4 pumps for the face and 1 for the neck, but I just love water-based creams. Like, it doesn't leave your skin feeling oily, it just makes your skin feel fresh, and it feels good to put makeup on top of it. Like, it doesn't make it feel like you've got a million layers of things on your face. So if you can see, it does look very sheeny, shiny. It is quite wet at the moment, so I don't want to put anything on top of this right now. So I'm going to get all my makeup set up for this video, and then we'll come back once this has dried down a little bit. Again, it feels so cooling and so nice, and then we'll get started with the makeup routine. Okay, everything's dried down now, and it is still tacky to touch, which I like because I feel like it's not so wet that the makeup moves when you put it on your face, but it's tacky to where everything stays like dewy and hydrated, and I personally like that look when I'm doing my makeup. So I always start with foundation on like my base first. I know if you're doing like a heavy eye look, some people do the eyes first or the eyebrows first. I personally don't do my eyebrows. I don't even think I've brought anything to do my eyebrows with. I did buy this recently. This is the Vieve Skin Nova Complexion Balm. It is so natural, and it's so dewy, and it's so nice and hydrating. It just feels really nice on the skin, but sometimes I do feel like it doesn't give me as much coverage as I want. So I am going in with my tried and trusted Maybelline Superstay Skin Tint. This is in the shade 3, so the skin tint is in shade 3, and the skin balm is in 120, because I'm a pale girl. And I'm going to be applying it with the Clomana Beauty sponge. I have already ran it for underwater and squoze out the excess, so I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the best tools the Lord gave us, which is these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of the Skin Balm on from Vive. Down the neck, down the nose. And then I'm also going to put on the skin tint. If you want to use one, you can just use one. But for me, I like how they both work together and I like properties of both of them. So I'm just going to use both. And I'm just going to start by rubbing it in with my hands. I feel like this just distributes the product first before I use the sponge. The sponge will take any excess off as well if it feels like there's a lot on your skin. And the whole idea of this video and of this makeup look is to feel confident. Right now I look a bit like a clown, but by the end you will feel confident. And then I'm going to start with my neck and then slowly work my way up to the jawline. And always remember to get this little bit here right next to your ear. I just go over my eyelids as well. And with any excess on the sponge, I just go into my hairline. So I'm just gonna keep going over my skin for a minute. Just make sure everything's blended out. I'm not missing any spots. I always go behind my ear as well and down my neck, around my mouth because I have a little mustache, so I want to make sure that that is not looking weird. And then once you're happy with how your base is looking, let me just move the camera a little bit so you can see how the base is right now. So you're looking a bit like Casper the Ghost if you're as pale as me. But once you're happy with like the application and how everything is blended out, then you can start to go in with the rest of your base routine. Now personally, I'm gonna go in with bronzer first. At the moment, I actually got this for Christmas. It's a little bit warm for me, but it kind of works because my hair is so warm. It doesn't look as bad as it probably should do, but the product itself is so good. This is the Jordana Tisha. This is the new bronzer duos. So basically it comes with a cream on top. Underneath it comes with a powder bronzer that matches the cream, and this one is in the shade Gilded Sands. So what I do is with a brush this time, not with a sponge, I use my Peaches and Cream PC25, and you don't need a lot of this at all. It's such a creamy product. I just start by slowly building up the bronzer on my cheek. I also just follow like my kind of cheekbone hollows, like when you do that. I go just above it, just to kind of keep it lifted, and a little bit definitely goes a long way with this product. I'll go around the contours of my face, and I always bring it right in on the temples, like I basically connect it to the end of my eyebrow, and I just deepen it up at the top of my forehead. And again, I bring it quite far down because I am going to put a little bit of concealer on my forehead as well, so we can kind of blend it into that and make it work. Any excess from the brush, I just push it into the side of my nose. You don't have to be precious about where you're putting it, as long as you're aiming for the side of your nose. And I like to go right up here under the start of my eyebrow. Oh my god, I've got a runny nose, so this bit is a little bit difficult. I'm not going to set the bronzer with the powder just yet. I want to get all the creams out of the way before we start doing that. So next I'm going to go in with concealer. This is my Hourglass concealer. This concealer is just the best ever. I think I'm actually running out, like it's not really picking up anything on the brush, but this is the shade Cream, or Creme, C-R-E-M-E, and I love it. It's so gorgeous. So I'm gonna go right under my eyeballs, and I do like to bring it like in a straight line down the side of my nose, like basically from the tear duct at the start. You just put the brush there and bring it down, and then I bring it out a little bit, and then I'll do a line from the end of my eye like this. I also get a lot of redness here, which sometimes doesn't get covered up by foundation, so I do just put a little bit down here as well, and then some on my forehead and anywhere else that you might have redness or you want to like correct, you can put some, but that's usually the places that I do it. And then I actually blend it in with a brush. This is the Peaches and Cream PC18, I want to say. It's rubbed off because I've had it for so long. And again, I just dab the makeup in. And I try and focus first where I've just put it and then can start blending out. So you get the most coverage where you first applied it. And then down the side of my nose. I like this brush because it is small. I don't know if you can tell how small it is, and it is very precise. And obviously we've just drawn a straight line down the side of our nose, so we don't want it to stay as a straight line. We want to diffuse it out, but we don't want to diffuse it out too much to where we lose the bronzer on our nose, if that makes sense. So I like to just slowly dab it, work everything else out first, go up here, blend this out so it kind of creates a lifted look above the bronzer, and it cuts up the bronzer from the temple and the cheek. Once it's all blended out, then I'll just go down the side of my nose with the brush and just make sure that line is diffused so it's not just a legit straight line anymore. So that is this side blended out, and then this side still needs blending out, but I just wanted to show you what my nose is looking like. So I'm going to do this side and then we will move on to arguably my favourite part, which is blush. The blush that I'm using today is another Jordana Tisha product. This one is a blusher duo, so like the bronzer, it comes with a cream on top, and then in the bottom where you unscrew it, powder on top, cream on the bottom. It smells like Starburst, I don't know how to explain it. It's such like a sweet strawberry fruity scent. It is really nice. So this is the shade that I'm using. It is the shade It's Casual. It's like the most perfect universal peachy shade. And the brush that I'm using definitely 100% needs a wash. It's diabolical. It's a P. Louise 738 brush. It just looks like this. And I pick up some of the cream, and I'm not really shy with it. I like a lot of this blush. And I start by basically right underneath the outer corner of my eye. I'll just start dabbing it, and I'll look up to make sure that it reaches the underneath of my eye. And I just start tapping it in. Obviously with everything that we've applied so far, there's been no dragging, there's been no pulling, like it is all just tapping into the skin, because wherever you start tapping it in is where it's going to stay, and that is how you're going to get the most flawless makeup application that's going to stay in place all day and make you feel confident. And basically at this point you need to just place the product where you want to accentuate, you know? So like I like accentuating the apples of my cheeks with blush, but I like accentuating like the cheekbone here with the bronzer. So it's all up to you what you want to enhance and go from there. I also bring the blush into my outer corner above my eye as well. Happy with the blusher application. Any excess, again, I just literally tap it on the bridge of my nose. So now we've got all of our creams on our face. We've got our foundation, our concealer, bronzer, blusher, everything like that. It's time to start setting things down and making sure they don't move all damn day. So usually I start with my blush. I actually have this Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush that I use for this. It is the JH04. It probably doesn't exist anymore. I don't even think Morphe exists anymore. Didn't it go bankrupt? But it's come back to life. I don't know. But with the powder part of the bronzer duo, I pick it up and again, I just dab it on, and I go right underneath the outer corner of my eye and I blend it out. And this obviously just makes the blusher more vibrant, but it also makes it last all day. And then I bring it into the apples of my cheeks as well. If you feel like it is like too much and you think, oh my god, I've put way too much blush on, because I know the first time that I wore blush, I felt like an actual clown. Like I didn't like the way it looked on me, but now it's like an integral part of my makeup routine. So if you feel like it is too much, we haven't set our face yet with powder, so we can always tone it down with powder later on. Now I'm going to go in and do the bronzer powder. I'm actually going to use this Physicians Formula bronzer. This is the Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer. Very original. And this one's quite a dewy finish as well. It's got little flecks of like gold glitter in it, which I like because it adds that back into your face. So I just start by tapping it, but making sure that when I finish tapping my brush, it kind of goes up a little bit like that. Because if you go down, it's just going to drag your face down, and we don't want that. We want a nice lifted look. Howard, please. Are you okay? Now it's time to set basically where I put our concealer, and if you want to set the rest of your face, then you can do. But I personally love, love, love this powder. This is the Laura Mercier. This is the Ultra Blur translucent powder. I've had this for like a year and there's still so much left. Like, although it is such an expensive buy, it is an amazing product and it lasts you forever and ever and ever. So personally, now that I've bought it and I've had it for so long, I think it is a really good investment to make in your makeup routine, but that is up to you. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with the same brush that I blended out the concealer with, and I'm gonna go under the eyes, down the side of the nose, because I want to blend out any creases that may have formed while I've been talking and stuff like that. And then I use a powder puff for this. I don't use a brush. It's just this Unicorn Cosmetics one. In fact, I probably need to wash it or get a new one because it's so crusty dusty. But basically the girl who sold me this, she said to pick some up and then take off the excess on the back of your hand. To me, this feels like I'm wasting a lot of product, but when I don't do this, I do notice that my face like feels cakey and looks cakey. This gives you the most natural, most blurred effect, and it's like the best way to use this powder specifically. So once I'm happy with mainly my under eye, then I'm just gonna look up and press the powder right into my under eye. And then any excess I just bring down, but I am going to add some more in a second. Now my under eyes are done. I take some powder just on the edge of my powder puff, blend it off, and I go straight down the side of the nose. Not necessarily baking, but you will be able to see the line, and we will brush it off in a minute. Where you feel like you're more oily during the day, like for me right here, then I just make sure to pop some powder on there. Again, just tapping off the excess so that it's not too cakey. And then of course, my forehead. And if you do want to go down the sides here, then you can do. It's all about what you want to accentuate, what you want to kind of hide more. If you want to carve out your cheekbones, if you want to carve out a jawline. Like for me, I don't have a strong jawline, so I kind of just avoid that part of me. But if you have a gorgeous jawline, you accentuate that. My face should be feeling extremely dry by now. And this next step that I'm going to tell you is the most important part of my makeup routine. It's what makes my makeup stay on all day. It's what makes it soak into my skin to make my skin look like skin and not makeup sitting on the skin. It is basically the part of my makeup that brings everything together and makes me feel the most confident after I do it. So this next part, the most important part, is back to this Thayer's facial mist. Not necessarily this mist, but it needs to have a fine enough mist to where it's not spraying big droplets on your face that are gonna stain and like run your makeup. If you can see like that mist, that is very fine. It can be a setting spray, it can be anything. I just use this because it's what I have on hand and I like the smell of it and it has good properties in it, so that is why I use it. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna trust the process and you're gonna close your eyes, you're gonna keep your face still, and you're gonna evenly apply this to your skin. Like that. And I know that feels like a lot and you feel like you've just absolutely ruined your makeup, but you haven't. Just fan it down, keep your face still, and just let it dry down. If you feel like there's anywhere dry, like when you're fanning, you can usually feel it have a cooling effect. If you feel like you've missed anywhere, just spray it again, because you want everything to soak in. And this is what it does, it kind of makes the powders moist, makes them just soak down into the skin. So instead of it being dusty, it's more like your skin but better now. And once it's dried down fully, I usually go in again with a little bit of powder here and on my forehead, just to kind of double layer everything and lock everything in place. And because we're putting it over something that's just been hydrated and soaked back into the skin, it doesn't feel like you're adding another layer. It doesn't feel cakey or anything like that. It is just locking everything in. I promise you, this is the step of my makeup routine that changed everything. Now I've just done that one extra very, very light layer of powder here. I'm just going to spray the center of my face again just to let it soak back in. My makeup wears better throughout the day when I do that step. I think because it's already settled into the skin, it's just becoming more skin-like as you're wearing it. And when the oils start to come through, it just makes your skin look more like skin and not fake or anything like that. Now it's time for the very, very minimalistic eyes. This is what brings everything together. The same powder bronzer that I used before, so the Physicians Formula One. And what I do is any creases that formed on your eyelid, I just rub them out. And I start by just applying this as an eyeshadow. And I follow like my socket up, and it reaches right into my eyebrow, and I just literally push this straight into the eyebrow and down, and then blend it out a little bit like that. Nothing major at all. And then one dab, I go right under the start of my eyebrow and I blend that in. And this is another step that just completely changes how your makeup looks and how it makes you feel. So it's right at the start of your eyebrow, just blend it in, deepen it up, and then just slowly bring it down the edge of your nose. We're not contouring, we're just adding a little bit of that colour back in. It just brings the focus back into the whole face rather than just the perimeters of the face. It brings everything together, it doesn't make everything look flat. It just makes, this is what like a normal face looks like. It has shadows down the side of the nose, and you're just accentuating that to make your face look like an actual face. It's all for eyeshadow. Sometimes I'll add a tiny little brown wing, but I haven't actually brought that eyeliner with me today. But something that I have been doing at the moment, which has really been kind of elevating my eye looks, has been using a loose pigment. This one is the shade Halo from Peaches and Cream. That's what it looks like on my finger. Stunning. And basically I just push this onto my eye, and once I've got the majority of the pigment down, I just start tapping upwards, and I literally just tap it up to my eyebrow. You just want to make sure with this that you're getting the majority of the pigment on the eyelid, and then any excess with your finger you can tap out and tap up, and it's not going to show a big shiny straight line. It's just going to blend seamlessly up into the eyelid. It just kind of opens up the eye, adds a little bit of something to your makeup that you wouldn't usually have. I personally like doing this. You don't even have to wear fake lashes with this. I'm not. It doesn't look bad, you know? It's not one of those eye looks that look bad without eyelashes. It just looks natural. I can't get over how stunning this shade is. I usually, it's so unattractive, but I usually put my head back like this so that I can see the sparkles in the light, and I can see if there is any like straight, ugly lines of pigment. And I can just keep blending it out until I'm happy with it. To finish off the eyes, I literally just use mascara. And the mascara that I'm using today is the Maybelline Sky High one. This is the Burgundy Haze shade. I personally like this with my hair colour and with my eyes, but you can use whichever colour you want. I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes and apply. Mascara is done. The final step for my eyes is to use a cream eyeliner. Not white, I feel like white is too much, but whatever matches your skin tone is what I use, is what you should use. It just gives you like a dull eye effect. It makes you look more awake, and I feel like it makes your eyes look a little bit, not necessarily bigger, but more there, prominent, more noticeable. But I literally just do it on my lower lash line. Now the final step is literally just lips, and then we're done. But already, I don't know if you can tell by my aura, I'm feeling a lot more confident. Just having makeup on, it makes me feel a little bit more set up for the day. Makes me want to be more productive as well, which is a strange theory, but my lip combo I got for Christmas, and it is actually Jordana Tisha as well. I actually brought out lip liners recently, and they did a bundle on TikTok, so I sent it to my sister and was like, this is what I want for Christmas. And basically you got to choose a lip liner and a lip gloss for, I don't know how much it was. It wasn't a lot. Considering how good these are, it was not a lot of money. I actually just need to sharpen this pencil. This may be my favourite lip liner I've ever tried, like the consistency of it. And it sharpens really nice. That's the first time I've ever sharpened it. So this lip liner is the shade Sweet Serenade. If you can see, it's like a really muted, peachy, but warm colour. It's not too warm, which I like. It's not too like brown, which I kind of don't like at the moment. It kind of reminds me of the shade It's Casual of the blusher duo that we use, and I think that's why I like it so much, because I always use that blush. I feel like it just matches the vibe, and that is what I want. I've been looking for a lip liner like this for ages, and I feel like this is the perfect shade. So I'm just gonna line my lips, or overline my lips. It matches the vibe immaculately, and it just brings everything together perfectly. That is another thing that you need to find, is like a lip liner that is your go-to. And I do highly recommend these Jordana Tisha ones. I basically just fill my whole lip in with this after I've lined them. There's the lip liner on, and I am going to go in with a Jordana Tisha gloss just to finish everything off. Personally for me, I'm a glossy kind of girl. I feel like it matches the eye look. I feel like it makes my lips look more juicy, voluptuous, and that makes me feel more confident. And also, there's just something about a juicy lip gloss. I just can't help myself. I've got a lot of choices, but I am going to go with a Jordana Tisha one just because I want a bit more colour as well. So this one I already had before. This is in the shade Clueless. It's so perfect. It's basically the same colour, I would say, as this lip gloss. Lip liner, but in the bundle with this lip liner they didn't have that one in stock, so I got this one in the shade Hun. I thought it would be too light for me, but I think it is actually a really good shade. I am going to go in with Clueless. It's my all-time fave, and I feel like I'm just feeling this today. It's a little bit darker, but do you see, it basically matches the lip liner perfectly. I'm gonna put this on. These are so hydrating. I've got such crusty, dusty lips at the moment, and these get me through. So that is the lip gloss on. Let me bring you a little bit closer, because I feel like that angle, sometimes the shadows kind of get you there. But that is the full face, my go-to makeup look to feel confident. I'm gonna do my hair for now. This is my finished makeup look. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took some tips from it, or you can find your own confident makeup routine. But always remember, confidence comes from within, and sometimes I feel more confident when I don't have any makeup on and I'm like myself, because sometimes you can feel like a different person with makeup on. Sometimes that's good. You can have your alter ego and you can be a different person. Sometimes you just need something like that to make you do what you need to do to get things done, to be more productive. Like I said before, sometimes when I'm wearing makeup, I feel more productive, and it's almost like when you put more effort into yourself, you feel like you need to go out and do more and almost just like get out the house, because I'm such a creature of habit and I'm such a home bird. I could stay home all day. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you yourself find your own go-to confident makeup routine, because you deserve it.